What's up, guys? Classy Metal here. It's Sunday once again, so it's time for another installment of the CD collection. We're on episode 80, so it's kind of hard to believe that we've done 80 of these already. I guess 81 if you count the kind of preface video that I did leading into marching through the CD collection. We left off on video 79 with Incantation in the IN section. This video, we're going to go all the way from bands that begin with IN all the way to bands that begin with IN. So making some real progress here. I didn't know if I was going to get this video done this week or not. I dealt with some health issues. I don't want to get into it just too personally, but some pretty substantial stuff. And I didn't know if I was going to get this done, but I'm still here. I'm still kicking, and we're going to march through this, doing quite a bit better this weekend. So I'm very thankful for that. I am very amateurish today, more so than usual in this video. I didn't charge my laptop, so I'm hoping that it stays charged through the duration of this video. And I wasn't able to put in the time that I usually put into with these. So I apologize in advance if it comes off a little bit more underprepared or amateurish than I usually am. But we're gonna keep on, and we're gonna persevere, and we're gonna adapt and overcome. So we're just gonna pick up where we left off. We have Incantation. This is Writing Spiritual Embodiment. This is a live album. I don't know why I did the little quotation. It is a live album. It was recorded in 1991, but it was released in 2017. It's kind of a three labels there kind of worked together, I guess, and releasing this live album. You've got Deathgasm, Ibex Moon, and Necroharmonic records all work together and release this. Very bootleggy sounding. I mean, it was recorded in 1991, so that kind of I guess goes without saying. It is an official release, but it's one of those that I feel like you have to be a real fan of the band to appreciate it and enjoy it the way it should be appreciated. But I do like it for what it is, but it's not, when I reach for an Incantation album, that's probably 9 times out of 10 not going to be the one that I reach for. And then I have the compilation release that Relapse put out last year. This is Incantation with the Tricennial of Blasphemy, kind of spanning over 30 years of the band's material. Lots of good stuff on this. It's 2 discs, and I got a steal on this. I ordered this in a bundle deal on eBay. I got this and the newest Belphegor full length together in a bundle, and it was like $8, so I couldn't pass that up at all. But I mean, there's a ton of material. I mean, you think of 30 years and the amount of albums and releases and EPs that Incantation has put out, you've got a ton of material to kind of sift through, and there's lots of good stuff on that compilation. So next up, we've got a band out of Italy. I received this album in a grab bag at one point. Haven't spent a ton of time with it. It is kind of, from my memory, it's kind of like a death metal slash metallic hardcore hybrid band from what I remember. This is Incoming Cerebral Overdrive with Controverso. Don't remember a ton about it. I do remember thinking that it was decent for what it was. I mean, I do think it was an enjoyable release, but I don't remember just a ton about it. It has been quite some time since I listened to this one. I do remember in my head I'm saying this band is out of Italy. I really think that they are, but that's really all I can say on that one right now. Next up, we have some melodic black metal. Kind of leans into like melodic death metal at times as well. This is Inexorum with Moonlit Navigation. This is their middle release, their second release. This was released, I think, in 2020. They released one last year, and then they had one that came out a little bit before it. I like this band. There are some people out there that are just super in love with this project. Also, it's kind of like this band's getting a resurgence of people looking at it because the member, I know one of the members behind this is in the band Majesties. I know a lot of people have been into that Majesties full length that came out this year through 20 Buck Spin, the melodic death metal. So if you're into that and you haven't heard Inexorum, I think you might dig that as well. Next up, we have a band. This is a pagan black metal band, but it's very raw. This is a band, I believe they're out of Poland. It's Infamous, and this I cannot pronounce the release title. I don't speak. I'm assuming it's probably in Polish. This was released, I think, in 2017, but both. It's a compilation of their two demos that were actually recorded in the late 90s, and but they didn't get this physical release until I think it was 2017. I could be off on that year. In my head, that's what I'm saying. Very raw sounding stuff. I do enjoy it. I find it to be quite enjoyable, but it's one of those, if you're not into some just really hateful, raw sounding black metal, you might not get into this, but I dig this quite a bit. It's pretty nasty stuff. Haven't listened to it in quite a while. I might have to revisit that one sometime in the very near future. Next up, we've got some death grind. It leans more into the grindcore realm as opposed to the death metal realm. This is a band out of Sweden. It's kind of like Swedish death metal riffs merged into grindcore, merged into almost like this Nazum worship grindcore. That's the best way I know to describe this band. This is their second album. This is Infanticide. I guess that's how you pronounce that. With From Our Cold Dead Hands. This was released on Willow Tip Records. Got this in a Willow Tip mystery box. There's a lot of grab bag and mystery box material in this portion of the CD collection, but this one I really like it. I really like this band. I want their debut full length. I haven't been able to find it yet. I have it on my want list on Discogs because it is an absolute ripper. I like all of their material. Just some filthy grindcore. Like I said, it was like filthy grindcore with those Swedish death metal riffs in throughout it. And then my favorite of the two that I own, I have their last full length. This one is entitled Misconception of Hope. I believe this band is still together, but this came out quite some time ago. It was 2013 when this came out. I think the band is still together as far as I know, but they haven't put out any more full length since. Maybe at some point we will get one that's been a decade in the making or something. That would be pretty awesome. But if you like Nazum, I think you would like this band. It's Infanticide. Yeah, my tongue is not working. I really like this one. You could probably find either of these that I just showed really cheap because they are pretty prevalent in those Willow Tip mystery boxes. I think Willow Tip still has those grab bags on their Bandcamp where you could pick those up. I haven't gotten any more because I think I bought two and they were pretty similar in the stuff that I got. So, and they didn't change over time. So I'm thinking I would probably get a lot of the same stuff in that if I was to ever try one again. Next up, we've got some more death grind. This one leans more into the death metal realm of death grind. This is a band out of Spain called Infected Flesh. I believe they're out of Spain. Now that I said it, that may be wrong, but in my head I'm saying Spain. But man, don't quote me on that. This is something of severe infections. I'll put it right there. So concatenation. Yeah, obviously I can't pronounce anything today. So I told you this was going to be a super amateurish video. But look at that artwork. You know you're in some nasty stuff there. Some just grindy death metal, just nastiness released on Comatose Records. They've got a few full lengths out, but this is the only one that I own. Don't remember exactly where I picked this one up. I don't know if I ordered it on eBay or from Comatose directly, but a lot of times too with Comatose, you know you're getting some filthy death metal when you see that label stamp on the back of an album. We've got some brutal death metal. We got this is just if there's a lot of death metal in this portion as well. So I'll just go ahead and put that disclaimer out there. I think I got this one in the most recent mystery box that I did from Gorehouse Productions. I love a lot of that brutal death metal that Gorehouse Productions has going on over there on that label. This is Infectology with Innards of Misanthropic Embodiment. I think Infectology is out of Ecuador. I think it's just some Ecuadorian. Is that how you do that Ecuadorian brutal death metal? It's nasty. This is some real nasty stuff. There's a lot of this in this portion of the collection that has kind of been neglected as of late because it got put when I moved and redid my shelves. This is a section that is on one of the bottom shelves, and I'm old, and it kind of hurts sometimes to get down there and pick those up. So a lot of this stuff has been a little bit neglected, and that's a shame. Next up, we've got some atmospheric black metal. It's not the Cascadian atmospheric black. This is some kind of this is atmospheric black, almost like a progressive atmospheric black. It has some definite originality going on in this, and it's been like criminally overlooked, especially on the label that it's on. It's on Bind Rune Records, and a lot of people, when they think of Bind Rune, they go straight to Panopticon and those bands like that. And this for me, I just haven't seen a lot of people talk about this one. This is Infera Bruo with In Conjuration, and I absolutely love this. I've said earlier that a lot of this stuff in this portion is stuff that I picked up in grab bags and mystery boxes. If you have not gone over to the Bind Rune Records web shop and snagged one of those grab bags, those Bind Rune label mystery box grab bags that they have going on over there, you're definitely missing out, because there is a ton of killer material on that label. There's some of that stuff like this that you might not have heard if you've been like super focused on as I said, Panopticon. I'm not taking anything away from Panopticon. We all know how great that band is. But there's some stuff like this that's just been criminally overlooked, and you will get it. I'm pretty positive if you order one of those grab bags, this is going to be in there. And I think you will be very happy with all of the stuff that you get in one of those if you take the plunge and grab one. So a little plug there, but it's definitely worth the price of admission to get into that grab bag. Next up, we've got one that I picked up in a HPGD grab bag, in a Horror, Pain, Gore, Death. I think it was in one of those 30 CDs for $30 mystery boxes that they drop every so often. This is Inferion with This Will Decay. More death metal, nasty, thrashy, killer stuff. I like this one. I probably never would have checked this out. That's one thing that I love about doing grab bags and mystery boxes and that type deal is I find stuff like this that I never would have probably listened to otherwise. And this was a kind of a standout, and I was surprised with how much that I liked this one. So next up, one that you will not be able to see at all because I can barely see it, and it's right in front of my face. The artwork on this is so dark, and actually, what you're seeing on the camera, even with that like skull backdrop that I have, glare going on that, what you can see on the camera actually is a little bit more visible than what I can see looking at it straight under the light that I'm on. This is a band out of France. This is Infernal Blast with their 2017 EP entitled Wolves Elitism Speech. This is some nasty, raw black metal, hate-filled black metal. I don't know. This is another one that I don't think just everyone would love. I dig it. It was released on Black Plague Records in 2017, but it is some raw, nasty, hate-driven stuff. Next up, we've got some melodic death metal, kind of melodic blackened death metal. Has a bit of technicality stuff going on as well. This is Infinite Death with Beyond the Gates. This was self-released by the band 2014, maybe. I'm wanting to say that sounds about right. It says it was recorded in 2013, so I'm assuming it was probably self-released from the band in 2014. It's just an EP. This band never put out. It's their second EP. I think they did like a split project, then this EP, and then they had a follow-up EP, and that's all that they've ever put out. So I would like to hear something more from them, but that, unfortunately, that's all that I own from them. I've said that there was going to be a lot of death metal, a lot of different styles of death metal in this as well. This is a band that I don't think gets the kind of love and appreciation that they should. It's kind of funny saying that love for this band. It's a Mexican satanic death metal band, very hateful stuff, but you can find their albums for next to nothing, and that's I don't know if it's just because a lot of their albums were released on Deathgasm Records, so that might play into it. Deathgasm Records prints their material and distributes it to death. I'm not complaining about it because there's a lot of Deathgasm releases that I really love, and I'm able to get them at a price point that is awesome. So at least it's not stuff that you're having to pay $40, $50 to try to get a CD and try to hunt it down. I mean, their material is readily available. I highly urge you to check this band out and pick up some of their stuff if you haven't done so. Somebody has a loud motorcycle outside, so we're going to let them pass and we're going to get into it. This is Infinitum Obscure. This is their debut full length entitled Internal Dark Force, and this is my favorite. They have 3 full lengths, and this one is my absolute favorite of the 3. This one was released on Death Elite Records, but I think the next 2 that I'm going to show are all released on Deathgasm, but you can still find this one from what I think. I think you could still find this release on the cheap. So I highly urge you guys, if you're into that Latin death metal, especially that South American kind of death metal flair, into that satanic death metal stuff, I think you guys will dig this band as much as I do. They don't get the amount of recognition that they definitely deserve. Next up, I have their second album, Sub Atris Caelius. This one was released on Deathgasm, and it's just more of the same. I'm kind of rambling in this video, so I apologize. This might turn into a long collection video. And then I have their latest full length entitled The Luminous Black. This one's nasty stuff too. I think I actually ordered this one from Redstream Records, but it was released on Deathgasm. So definitely check out Infinitum Obscure. I think you guys will dig it. I do, and you can get that stuff at a price point that is just absolutely phenomenal. Next up, we have a Greek kind of progressive death thrash band. This is Infravision with This Epileptic Serenity. I'm wanting to say this album came out probably in the 2008-2009 time period, but it is a pretty solid release. As far as I can remember, this is the only release that this band ever put out, but I do dig it. I wish that they had put out some other material. I'm going to kind of speed up a little bit because I don't want this album to go on. I mean, this video to go on forever. We've got a split release here from a Swedish black metal band and a Chilean black metal band. This is In Funeral out of Sweden and The Last Nail out of Chile, which is kind of weird because this is the last release that In Funeral released, and it was very early in The Last Nail's discography. So it's kind of one of those almost like a transitional, like passing of the torch or something. I like this split. I like both bands' input. I think I may lean a little bit to the Last Nail portion of this, but it is some great black metal on that split. Next up, we have some brutal death out of Texas. This is Infuriate with their self-titled full length. This was released on Everlasting Spew in 2018. Does not feel like it has been out that long to me, but it has been out since 2018. I believe I picked this up on Night Shift merch. If you want to save on some shipping costs, Night Shift merch a lot of times has the Everlasting Spew releases, and they do U.S. distribution with the Everlasting Spew releases, and you can save quite a bit of money on the shipping there. If you haven't heard Infuriate and you're into brutal death, I think you will dig that one as well. There's all kinds of just nasty brutal death and death metal period coming out of Texas. Next up, we have some UK deathcore, kind of brutal deathcore. This is Ingested with their 2009 release, Surpassing the Boundaries of Human Suffering. This is the Candlelight Records pressing 2009. I think there's like tons of different pressings. I don't know for sure, like if it's first, second, third. I know that this one went for quite a bit of money at one point, but it's not something that I would sell because this is my favorite release from Ingested. I got to see them live, I think it was last year, and actually took my son to the show, and he enjoyed watching them live as well. So they kind of grew on me a bit more. I don't have a ton of their material, but it was nice to kind of have that, something with it him and I both enjoyed. And so I did pick up a couple there at the show. I have Where Only Gods May Tread. Haven't spent a ton of time with these, but I do enjoy Ingested. I mean, it's not, they're not my top tier favorite band ever, but I do have like fond memories of the band now because they were very solid live, and he and I both enjoyed seeing them live. And then I picked up the Surreption too. Both of these releases that I just showed were released on Unique Leader Records. They have quite a bit other albums in their discography as well, but that's the only three that I currently own. Next up, I believe this is another band out of Texas. This is Ingurgitate with Blackest Origins, more death metal out of Texas. This was released in the early 2000s, but it is some more brutal death metal. I do like this one as well, obviously, because it's still in the collection, and I've had this one for quite some time. This is another Comatose music release. There's so much stuff on Comatose. When I see that little stamp, it's about like Dark Descent Records. When you see that stamp, like a Dark Descent stamp, you know what you're kind of in for. When you see that Comatose stamp, it's kind of the same deal, that you know that you're probably into some brutal death, and it's usually pretty quality stuff. Next up, we have Inhabit with Pray for Nothing. More brutal death. This was released through Severed Records. This is a band out of Michigan, and this one's pretty solid as well. I believe this came to me in that Severed Records grab bag that I did. It may not have, but in my head, that's where I think I picked this one up. Solid, straightforward, brutal death. I don't remember just a ton about it. I remember liking the album, but I was like, there was 100 CDs. If this was in that grab bag, there was 100 CDs, and the majority, if not all of it, was brutal death metal. So it became going through that. You got some stuff that was all kind of starting to blend together. Next up, we have a band out of Mexico. A lot of Texas and Mexican death metal in this portion. We have Enhearted with Deduced to Purgatory. I really like this album. I probably would not have checked this out. I don't know what led me to stumbling upon this and giving it a spin. It came out in 2007, and it has like this very metalcore looking font to the album title. I mean, and the artwork, and it's not, and even the band name Enhearted. It sounds metalcore to me, and I don't know why I ended up checking this out, but I'm glad that I did, because this is some killer Mexican death metal, and I'm very glad that I took that plunge, checked that out. I think I ordered that one on eBay. More brutal death, go figure. We have Inhuman Deformity with Servants of Decay. This is an EP released through Severed Records. I believe this band is out of Sweden. So we have like some Swedish brutal death to kind of mix it up a little bit. Pretty solid. I like that artwork on that. I don't know why that artwork, that front cover art on that one draws me in as much as it does, but I absolutely love that. There's the inside, and just some solid Swedish brutal death metal there. More death metal. I believe this band is out of Texas as well. This is Iniquitous with Return to Deeds of Old. This is an EP. This was released, it's been out quite some time. It's got a MySpace link on the back, so that just gives you an idea. Probably early, well, I'd say mid 2000s is when this was most likely released. Another Severed Records release. I think I had this one quite a bit before I picked up that Severed grab bag. This is one that I sought out and picked up on my own. Solid death metal. It's not so much into the brutal death realm. It is more straightforward death metal, but it is pretty good stuff. Super long-winded on this one, so had to take a swig. Next up, we have Inoculated Life with Exist to Decay. This was released on Redefining Darkness Records in 2018. I've been really digging a lot of stuff that I'm finding through Redefining Darkness. This is kind of power violence, like fused with death grind, is the best way that I know to describe this project. I think this is their only full length band out of Colorado, but as far as I know, it's the only full length that they put out. There's a lot of grindy stuff coming out through that Redefining Darkness, but this one's solid. If you haven't checked that one out, definitely do yourself a favor and do that. Next up, this is a death metal band, I guess one-man project out of Mississippi. This is Jared Moran. Cave Moran is the force behind this one. This is Inner Sphere with Outer Reaches Rebellion. I'm becoming like a huge fan of Jared's stuff. He has his hand in so many projects, and it is, I don't know how he has time to do all this stuff, but he does all the instrumentations on this, and he just churns out so much material in so many different projects. It blows my mind that he's able to do so. But I like the majority of the stuff that I've heard that he's been a part of. And I also have the Inner Sphere full length entitled Chaos and Warfare. And as I said, I'm just becoming like a bigger and bigger fan of Cave's. The more that I hear his stuff, I'm just a fan of what he's doing. So definitely, Jared, man, if you ever do happen to see this or whatever, I hope you keep it up. And then the last one, we made it to the end of the video, so you guys made it. This is Innumerable Forms with their full length that came out last year entitled Philosophical Collapse. Some killer death doom. I messed up at the end of the year. This was released on Profound Lore last year. As I said, this portion of the shelf is on the very bottom. It kind of gets overlooked, and I filed this CD away early. I don't know why. I don't know what led me to do that after I had it, because I listened to this quite often when I got it in, and when I went through making my end of the year best of video, I just went through my section of the shelves where I had my 2022 releases, and this was on the main shelf. It got filed away with some other stuff, and I overlooked it for my end of the year list. This absolutely should have been on there. This is definitely just has this larger, like, grandiose feel than any of the other releases that I've heard through the under the Innumerable Forms banner. I fell in love with this on first listen, and I'm kind of disappointed in myself that I left it off of that end of the year list, because it was definitely worthy of being on there. Just a stellar release, still fresh on the brain, just larger than life and just heavy stuff here. So there's a lot of stuff on this video that I think you guys should check out, but this one definitely takes the cake on that as well. That's all I've got for this week. I've kept you here long enough. Hope you guys have a great week. Stay classy, stay metal, and I will see you guys soon.